The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her quantum interface display, her coffee growing cold beside her. The encryption was unlike anything she'd seen before, not human in origin. After 3 years of broadcasting humanity's first quantum encrypted signals into deep space, they had finally received a response, but not the one they had hoped for. "They're coming," the decoded message read. "Surrender your worlds or face extinction." In the depths of the Quantum Advancement Research Facility, QARF, buried beneath the Rocky Mountains, Sarah's team had spent the last decade perfecting humanity's greatest technological achievement, the quantum fold drive. What started as an experiment in quantum entanglement had evolved into something far more profound: the ability to manipulate the very fabric of space-time. Admiral James Rodriguez stood at the observation window, watching the massive underground hangar where Earth's first quantum-powered vessel was nearing completion. "How long until the Hyperion is ready?" he asked, his weathered face reflecting in the reinforced glass. 3 months, minimum," Sarah replied, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "The fold drive is stable, but we need more time too." "We don't have 3 months," Rodriguez interrupted, sliding a tablet across her desk. Long-range sensors detected their fleet entering the Oort cloud. "Conventional estimates give us 6 weeks." The Arcturus Collective, as they called themselves, had been systematically conquering or destroying civilizations across this arm of the galaxy. Their technology was centuries ahead of humanity's publicly known capabilities, but they didn't know about QARF. They didn't know about the quantum fold drive. Sarah pulled up the classified feeds from Earth's deep space monitoring network. The collective's fleet was massive. Hundreds of ships, each large enough to dwarf humanity's largest space stations. Their energy signatures were off the charts, suggesting weapons technology that could reduce planets to ash. "What they don't realize," Sarah said, bringing up the quantum fold drive's test results, "is that we've been preparing for something like this since we first detected their communications a decade ago. The public thinks we're still struggling with fusion drives and basic ion engines. They have no idea what we've achieved down here." Deep beneath the mountain, teams of engineers and scientists worked around the clock. The Hyperion wasn't just humanity's first quantum-powered warship. It was the prototype for a whole fleet that had been constructed in secret facilities across the solar system. While the world above carried on with their daily lives, humanity's greatest minds had been preparing for this moment. "Show me the latest simulation results," Rodriguez demanded. Sarah pulled up a holographic display showing a quantum fold drive in action. The technology didn't just move through space. It folded space itself, creating shortcuts through the very fabric of reality. A ship equipped with this drive could traverse vast distances instantly, appear anywhere without warning, and perform maneuvers that defied conventional physics. "The collective's going to expect a primitive species with basic space warfare capabilities," Rodriguez mused. "They're going to find something very different." Sarah nodded, remembering the day they first successfully tested the quantum fold drive. They had sent a probe from Earth to Jupiter in less than a second. The implications were staggering. Humanity had leapfrogged centuries of conventional technological development. "Begin accelerated deployment," Rodriguez ordered. "I want every completed ship ready for action in 4 weeks. We'll only get one chance at this." Across the solar system, hidden shipyards sprang into action. The Hyperion was just one of dozens of vessels that had been built in secret. Each was equipped with technologies that would seem like magic to most of humanity: quantum fold drives, zero-point energy weapons, and defense systems that could predict and counter attacks before they happened. As Sarah watched the activity in the hangar below, she couldn't help but smile. The Arcturus Collective thought they were about to conquer a primitive species that had barely reached their own moon. Instead, they were about to face humanity's greatest achievement: a fleet of ships that could rewrite the rules of space warfare. "Send word to all facilities," Rodriguez commanded. "Operation Quantum Shield is now active." It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is truly capable of. As the message went out, Sarah turned back to her quantum interface. The collective's threat still glowed on her screen. Surrender your worlds or face extinction. Little did they know, humanity was about to give them a response they would never forget. The Arcturus Collective's invasion fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system, their massive ships casting long shadows across the void. Supreme Commander Zaxthor stood on his command deck, mandibles clicking in anticipation. The conquest of Earth would be another trivial victory for his illustrious career. Their scans showed exactly what they expected. A handful of primitive orbital stations, crude chemical rockets, and basic defense satellites. The humans had managed to establish a few small colonies on Mars and their moon, but their technology was laughably primitive. This would be less a battle and more a harvesting operation. Begin standard invasion protocol, Zaxthor ordered. No need for elaborate tactics against such primitive beings. The first wave of collective ships surged forward, their weapons charging. They expected to encounter desperate resistance from Earth's conventional forces, missiles, railguns, perhaps some basic energy weapons. What they got instead was silence. Complete, absolute silence. Supreme Commander, his sensor officer called out, confusion evident in his voice. We're detecting some kind of quantum disturbance. Before Zaxthor could respond, space itself seemed to fold. Where there had been empty void moments before, dozens of sleek, dark vessels materialized. They were unlike anything the collective had ever encountered. Their hulls seemed to absorb light itself, their forms suggesting an understanding of physics far beyond what humanity should possess. Impossible, Zaxthor whispered. The human ships moved with impossible precision, their quantum fold drives allowing them to appear and disappear at will. The first wave of collective ships never stood a chance. Zero-point energy weapons cut through their supposedly impenetrable shields like they weren't even there. Ships that tried to retreat found themselves cut off as space itself was manipulated around them. In the QARF command center, Sarah Chen watched the battle unfold through quantum-entangled sensors. The Hyperion's performance exceeds all projections, she reported. The fold drive is allowing our ships to outmaneuver them completely. Admiral Rodriguez nodded grimly. Show them what else we can do. The Hyperion, flagship of humanity's secret fleet, executed a maneuver that should have been impossible. It folded space around itself, creating a quantum tunnel that allowed it to strike from multiple positions simultaneously. To the collective sensors, it appeared as though a single ship was attacking from dozens of locations at once. Zaxthor's mandibles trembled as he watched his first wave of ships being systematically destroyed. How? He demanded. They were supposed to be primitives. Their most advanced ships couldn't even reach their outer planets. The answer came in the form of a transmission, broadcast simultaneously to every collective vessel. Sarah Chen's voice echoed through their command centers. You thought you knew what humanity was capable of. You thought we were weak, primitive, easy prey. You were wrong. This is humanity's true face. Not the primitive facade we showed the galaxy, but the reality we built in secret while you underestimated us. The second wave of collective ships attempted to coordinate a counterattack, but they were fighting an enemy that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics. Human vessels would appear inside their formation, strike with devastating precision, and vanish before their weapons could lock on. Their tactics, designed for conventional space warfare, were useless against an enemy that could manipulate space itself. The quantum fold drive isn't just a means of propulsion, Sarah explained to her staff as they monitored the battle. It's a way to rewrite the rules of reality itself. Every ship in our fleet is essentially a mobile quantum computer, calculating and executing space-time manipulations in real time. The collective's mighty armada, which had conquered countless civilizations, found itself being systematically dismantled by an enemy they had gravely underestimated. Their superior numbers meant nothing against an opponent that could be everywhere and nowhere at once. Send the signal, Rodriguez commanded. Show them the full extent of our capabilities. Across the solar system, more human ships emerged from their hidden bases. They had been waiting for this moment, preparing in secret while maintaining the facade of a primitive species. The Collective's invasion fleet, which had arrived expecting an easy conquest, now found itself surrounded by a force that wielded technology they couldn't even comprehend. Zaxthor watched in horror as his mighty fleet was reduced to scattered remnants. The humans weren't just defeating them. They were demonstrating a level of technological superiority that shattered everything the Collective thought they knew about the species. Perhaps, Sarah's transmission continued. Next time you encounter a seemingly primitive species, you'll remember this day. Remember how humanity revealed its true nature, and remember the price of underestimating us. The battle would go down in history as the day humanity stepped out of the shadows, the day they showed the galaxy that appearances can be deceiving. The Arcturus Collective had come expecting to find prey, only to discover they had stumbled into the lair of a far more dangerous predator. The Arcturus Collective's High Council convened in an emergency session, their massive chamber filled with holographic projections of the devastating defeat. Supreme Commander Zaxthor's report had sent shockwaves through their civilization. Over half their invasion fleet, ships that had conquered countless worlds, had been destroyed by a species they'd dismissed as primitive. High Counselor Vexna's crystalline form pulsed with anger. How did we miss this? Our surveillance showed them struggling with basic spaceflight. They deceived us. First Intelligence Director Kraltex responded, his neural interfaces streaming data. Every primitive rocket, every crude satellite. It was all carefully orchestrated. While we watched their public space program, they were building something far more advanced in secret. The quantum fold technology that humanity had unleashed defied everything the Collective thought they knew about physics. Their scientists were still trying to understand how a supposedly primitive species had mastered such advanced concepts. The humans hadn't just matched Collective technology. They'd surpassed it. Back on Earth, Sarah Chen and her team were already implementing the next phase of their plan. The Hyperion and its sister ships had proven more effective than even their most optimistic projections. Now it was time to push their advantage. The Collective is regrouping at these coordinates, Sarah explained, highlighting several points in a holographic star map. They're calling in reinforcements from their core worlds, but they still don't understand what they're dealing with. Admiral Rodriguez studied the tactical display. They think quantity will overcome quality. They haven't grasped that we fundamentally changed the rules of engagement. The quantum fold drive didn't just allow for faster-than-light travel. It gave humanity control over space-time itself. Each human ship was effectively a mobile quantum computer, capable of calculating and executing reality-warping maneuvers in real time. Traditional space combat tactics were useless against an enemy that could manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. In the Collective's secondary command center, Zaxthor watched the approaching reinforcements with growing unease. They had brought 3 times the number of ships from their initial invasion force, but something felt wrong. The humans had yet to make any aggressive moves toward Collective space. They were waiting for something. Supreme Commander, his sensor officer called out, "We're detecting quantum disturbances throughout the fleet. They're similar to the patterns from the Earth battle, but larger." Zaxthor's mandibles clicked in alarm. Evasive maneuvers. All ships, break formation. But it was too late. Space itself seemed to twist and fold around the Collective fleet. Human ships emerged from quantum tunnels directly within their defensive formations, their weapons already firing. The reinforcement fleet found itself fighting an enemy that seemed to exist in multiple places simultaneously. How are they doing this? Zaxthor demanded, watching as his ships were systematically destroyed. No species should be capable of such technology. The answer came in the form of another transmission from Earth. This time, it was Admiral Rodriguez who spoke. "Your mistake was assuming that technological advancement must follow a predictable path. While you watched us play with rockets, we were unraveling the secrets of quantum mechanics. While you laughed at our primitive ships, We were learning to fold space itself. The collective's mighty armada, which had never known defeat, was being dismantled by an enemy they couldn't even properly track. Their sensors, designed to detect conventional weapons and drives, were nearly useless against ships that could manipulate quantum states at will. Sarah Chen watched the battle unfold through quantum-entangled sensors. "They're still trying to fight us like a conventional enemy," she observed. "They haven't accepted that their entire understanding of warfare is obsolete." The human fleet demonstrated maneuvers that should have been impossible. Ships would split into multiple quantum states, attacking from different positions simultaneously. Others would create localized time distortions, making it impossible for enemy weapons to track them. Each vessel was effectively a mobile quantum anomaly, capable of rewriting the laws of physics in its immediate vicinity. In the High Council chamber, the projections told a story of unprecedented defeat. The collective, which had built its empire on technological superiority, found itself hopelessly outmatched by a species they had intended to conquer. "We have no choice," Vexna declared, her crystalline form dimming. "Send the signal. Initiate full withdrawal from human space. We must reassess everything we thought we knew about technological development." As the remaining collective ships retreated, humanity's message was clear. They were no longer the primitive species the galaxy had ignored. They had emerged as something new, something that defied conventional understanding. And they were just getting started. News of the Arcturus collective's defeat spread across the galaxy like a shockwave. Species that had lived in fear of collective expansion watched in amazement as the mighty empire retreated from Earth space. The humans, dismissed for centuries as primitive newcomers, had shattered the established galactic order in a single battle. The Galactic Conclave, a loose federation of independent species, called an emergency session. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to discuss the implications of humanity's quantum technology. The humans had been invited to attend for the first time, their status dramatically elevated by their show of force. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled delegates, the Hyperion hovering in orbit above the conclave station as a reminder of Earth's power. "Humanity kept its true capabilities hidden for a reason," she explained. "While the galaxy saw us as primitive, we were free to develop our technology without interference or threat." The alien representatives shifted uncomfortably. Many of their own civilizations had been monitoring Earth, waiting for humanity to reach a level of development that would make them worth conquering or trading with. None had suspected the humans were already far beyond their technological level. Admiral Rodriguez, standing beside Sarah, activated a holographic display. "The quantum fold drive isn't just a weapon or a means of transportation. It represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of reality itself. The universe is more malleable than anyone realized." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just developed a new type of technology. They had discovered principles that could reshape civilization itself. The quantum fold drive made traditional space travel obsolete. Energy production, manufacturing, even the nature of space warfare, everything would have to be reconsidered. In the collective's capital, the High Council faced a crisis. Their empire had been built on technological superiority, but now they faced a species that made their most advanced systems look primitive. Reports from their scientists were troubling. They couldn't even begin to understand how the human ships manipulated quantum states so precisely. "We must adapt," High Counselor Vexna declared. "The humans have shown us that our understanding of physics is incomplete. We can either learn from them or become obsolete." The collective, for the first time in its history, sent diplomats instead of warships. Their arrival at Earth was marked by caution and humility, a stark contrast to their previous arrogance. They came with offers of trade, cultural exchange, and scientific collaboration. But humanity had its own agenda. Sarah Chen and her team had spent years preparing for this moment. The quantum fold drive was just the beginning. In secret laboratories across Earth, scientists were unraveling even more fundamental secrets of the universe. "We won't be sharing our quantum technology," Rodriguez announced to the gathered diplomats. but were willing to help establish a new galactic order, one based on cooperation rather than conquest. The message was clear. Humanity wouldn't be conquered, colonized, or controlled. They had emerged as a power that could reshape the galaxy, and they would do so on their own terms. In the QARF facility, Sarah watched the diplomatic proceedings with satisfaction. Screens showed collective ships being escorted by human vessels, their quantum fold drives creating visible distortions in spacetime. It was a reminder of the new reality. Humanity was no longer pretending to be primitive. They're still trying to understand how we did it, she mused. How we developed this technology in secret, how we hid our true capabilities for so long. Rodriguez nodded. Let them wonder. Sometimes the best defense is letting your enemies underestimate you until it's too late. The galaxy was changing. Species that had lived under collective dominion for centuries began to assert their independence. The human quantum fleet became a symbol of resistance, a reminder that even the mightiest empires could be humbled by those they dismissed as insignificant. And in the depths of space, Sarah Chen's quantum sensors detected something new. Patterns that suggested there were even greater mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Humanity's journey was just beginning. 1 year after humanity's revelation of their quantum technology, Earth had become the center of a new galactic order. The Hyperion, now joined by dozens of sister ships, patrolled the space lanes once dominated by collective warships. But Dr. Sarah Chen knew their work wasn't finished. In the quantum labs beneath the Rocky Mountains, she studied data from the latest experiments. The quantum fold drive had been just the beginning. Her teams were pushing the boundaries of what was possible, exploring dimensions beyond the conventional understanding of spacetime. We've detected something, she told Admiral Rodriguez, displaying a complex quantum visualization. The fold drive isn't just manipulating spacetime, it's giving us glimpses of something more fundamental, the underlying structure of reality itself. The Arcturus Collective, once the galaxy's supreme power, had adapted to the new reality. Their scientists worked alongside human researchers, learning the principles that had allowed Earth to leap centuries ahead in technological development. But they were still playing catch-up. The other species are watching us, Rodriguez observed, studying reports from across known space. They're waiting to see what we'll do with our power. Humanity's response surprised them all. Instead of establishing an empire or demanding tribute, Earth began sharing certain technologies, not the quantum fold drive, but innovations in medicine, environmental restoration, and sustainable energy. They demonstrated that power could be used for more than conquest. The Hyperion's quantum sensors detected a signal from deep space, something that didn't match any known pattern. Sarah's team analyzed the data, their excitement growing as they realized what they were seeing. It's not just about folding space anymore, she explained to the assembled galactic representatives. We're beginning to understand how to read the quantum signature of reality itself. There are layers to the universe we never imagined. The collective's High Council, watching from their capital, finally understood their fundamental mistake. They had assumed technological progress followed a linear path, that a species had to master certain technologies before advancing to others. Humanity had proved them wrong by taking a different route entirely. The quantum fold drive was never about faster-than-light travel, Sarah revealed. It was about understanding the malleability of reality. Once we grasped that, everything else followed. Earth's cities were transformed by their quantum technology. Energy was abundant, pollution disappeared, and humanity began expanding across the solar system in earnest. But they maintained their secrecy about their most advanced research. Some discoveries, they had learned, were best kept hidden until the right moment. The galaxy entered a new age of exploration and discovery. Species that had once fought over resources found new ways to cooperate. The human quantum fleet became peacekeepers rather than conquerors, their very presence a reminder of the benefits of looking beyond conventional wisdom. In her lab, Sarah Chen made one final entry in her research log. We didn't just change how we travel through space. We changed how we think about what's possible. The universe is stranger and more wonderful than anyone imagined, and we're just getting started. The Hyperion, gleaming in the light of distant stars, continued its patrol. Inside its quantum core, calculations beyond conventional physics opened windows to new possibilities. Humanity had emerged from obscurity to reshape the galaxy, not through conquest or dominion, but by daring to question the very nature of reality itself. And somewhere in the vast expanse of space, other civilizations watched and learned an important lesson. Never underestimate a species that appears primitive. They might just be hiding their true nature, waiting for the right moment to change everything.